Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saver. So today we have a short video just to discuss how you can better track your earnings within the Anchor protocol. So Anchor has been amazing for the consistent gains that we've seen, which comes out to about 19.5% APY at the end of the year. But as you may know, if you have money deposited within Anchor, it's really difficult for you to be able to tell, well, how much interest have I made? Typically, if you scroll below, you would see the expected interest, but that does not necessarily mean you know how much you've actually earned so far. Now, right now, I actually have, as you can tell, very little deposited into Anchor, but as a matter of fact, some of this money is being used on the Mirror protocol as collateral for my short assets. And for those of you that have been doing a delta neutral strategy within the Terra ecosystem, you might know that if you use your um, AUST from Anchor as collateral on Mirror, then the UST value here will actually just disappear altogether. But here's the good news. The folks from Flipside Crypto, in particular, two members, Shriyash and something else, they've actually made a tool that is very cool and very simple to use. And all you have to do to really understand how much you've made, and they even show you a nice little graphic here, is by plugging in your Terra address right here. And I'm going to do exactly this. Now, as I do this, I am going to make sure to drop the URL in the description. So if you're interested yourself, you can just follow that URL and you'll go directly to this page. You can kind of get a glimpse here of how the homepage looks like. And they are trying to create different analytical tools within the Terra ecosystem. And this is definitely one of their tools. So as we can see here, the total interest that I've earned from Anchor so far is 822 UST. In addition to that number, we can actually see what the current balance is, right? So we have about 1695 UST, which is all the UST that is being used as collateral on Mirror. You could actually see here, it even tells you that the balance is being used on Mirror. And that would be the total. And down below, we can actually see all the different transactions that we've had. So how much we've deposited, how much we've redeemed over time. And the cool thing is if we look at the little earning graph here, you can actually track how much you're making. And if you've been keeping a relatively stable amount within Anchor, you can actually just simply quantify how much you're gaining per day if you just subtract, obviously, any two values in between to really figure out how much you're making per day. Now you might notice how it's kind of flattened off here, and the only reason that's happened is because I've actually withdrawn a lot of my AUST away from Anchor, and I've actually personally converted it to Luna, and I'm just holding Luna at the moment since I am bullish, very bullish in the short term when it comes to the Luna price. That's the only reason it's flatlining here. But for all this time, I was just earning interest on Anchor. In total, I've earned 822 UST, which is amazing because if we just look at the date here, it starts on July 4, but I had very little deposited in the very beginning in this account. It really took some time. If we just look here, when I first deposited, as you can kind of see here. So you can see all your transactions here. So on June 29th, I deposited $91. And then the same day, I also threw in 850. And it was only until like the second week of July that I actually started putting in larger figures, as you can tell here. And that's when things really ramped up for me. And lastly, the really cool thing here is you could also get a glimpse of all the fees you've paid. So for me, my fees is actually 122 UST. Now that does sound like a lot, and it is a lot. And the reason for this, and this is for those of us who were utilizing the delta neutral strategy involving Mirror, as you might know, and we're just going to head over to that right now. I still have a position. I used to have quite a bit on Mirror. I just have one at the moment. But if we go to my page, so I have the silver position. So I do have, as you can see here, this collateral is obviously my AUST collateral. But whenever you want to close your short farm, right? So I have a silver here that I'm short on. And if we simply go to, we're borrowing silver. We click on manage and close. Does it display right away? Yeah, we just simply don't have the silver available to actually continue the screen, but you will typically pay 2% for closing the transaction. And that's a pretty major fee. And that's actually where predominantly most of these fees came from. It came from closing the short positions within Mirror. If we go to the last page here, you can actually see how much AUSD I lost when closing my short positions on Mirror, right? 35 AUSD, 18, 14, 15, 17. If we just do a quick rough math here, let me just do this real quick. This looks like maybe around somewhere around 70 to 80 AUST was lost to closing those mirror positions. So 70 to 80 out of 108 AUST was lost simply due to that. And keep in mind, I mean, likely you might not be as active as I have been with like withdrawing out of Anchor and depositing, because I obviously I also focus on producing videos. So in those cases, I tend to test things out, and it obviously accumulates fees when doing so. But this is also a really cool thing just to quickly gauge how much you have paid in fees thus far. But altogether, I mean, it's an awesome tool. It's definitely a tool that you want to have bookmarked, because as it stands right now, there really isn't any other better way for you to be able to kind of incrementally see how you are earning that much more interest on Anchor every single day. So again, if you're interested in this tool, check the description below. If you like this sort of content, just give me a thumbs up. And if you really like this content, I mean, I'll appreciate a subscribe, but that's on you. Other than that, I mean, have an awesome weekend. Thanks for listening.